by the same token, if your man is stepping in and he's doing stuff, applaud him. You know, let him know, oh, wait, that's, you know, that's all right. I see your little biceps working. I see you flexing, doing a little something.
Yeah, you wanted a million and you show it. What you want, is it really that important? You've been on my mind.
Hey, once again, it has been a slight minute since the last time I talked with you guys, picked up the camera and done all the things that I said I'm going to do more consistently. But I already know this summer, when I'm actually off my W-2 job, I'm going to have a good time doing this because I actually do enjoy it. I enjoy, especially when you guys interact with me. But I just have been tired. Like today is Tuesday, and usually after work I might meet a couple of friends and we might have Taco Tuesdays or something, but not today. Today I literally came home, put my stuff down, took a shower, and then laid down. I was like, oh, I'm gonna just lay down for a minute or two. Hours later, that's my lights going off, and I'm gonna tell you about that in a minute. But hours later, I finally wake up. It is like 9:26, and I'm up, and I'm getting ready to cook something. Cause did you hear me mention the part where I ate? Cause I didn't. Woke up starving, so I got some veggies in the fridge that I need to cook up, and I figured, okay, well I'm gonna just make some, what do you call it, veggie marinara. Really, I thought I was gonna make some shrimp marinara, but I looked in the freezer, didn't have no shrimp. What I did have though was some mushrooms. So I got some leftover mushrooms. I guess I'm gonna season this up like shrimp and toss that in there and see what it do. Then I got some other veggies. Here, let me just show you what I got. All right, so I got some garlic bread. I'm gonna cook up a couple, 2, 3 seasonings. My veggies being spinach, my peppers, there's the mushroom I mentioned. Maybe about half of an onion. I've got some zucchini that I'm going to use. I'm going to use that instead of my pasta. I'll tell you why in a minute. And it wouldn't be cooking in cocktails without a cocktail, so I got my usual setup here. A little lime juice, tequila. Oh, I forgot my Minute Maid zero sugar. But all right, so before I even start chopping and all of that stuff, I might as well get my drink ready. Let me grab that Minute Maid I forgot about. And today we went on a field trip out to Legoland. So running around after a bunch of children is tiresome. It is really draining. And then we got on a bus and it was hot and we had recess and all those things that go with teaching. So anyway, we're driving down there getting excited about it, and you know, like I said, just seeing the city come alive with the setups and all that stuff. So I kind of want to be a part of that. How did I transition into that? I don't even know, child. I don't. But like I said, I don't really necessarily want to see the draft itself as much as I just kind of want to be a part of the environment, because I'm a person who has hopped her little happy tail on a plane, flown to a city that might have the playoffs, be it Dallas or something, and not seen 1 second of the game. Couldn't tell you if the referees used a whistle or their fingers when they were blowing down the players, but went to the city, had a good time anyway. And so that's kind of how I feel. I'm like, dang, it's right here in my city. How am I not going to have a good time with that? I'm a little bit older than some of the parties and the things that I hear, but I don't know, I might do some of the day activities, like they got day brunches and all of that stuff, which, did I tell you, but you know, we'll see, because I mean, if I'm legitimately sick, right? You know what I mean? So I know another major district actually called off. They made it an AMI day just to allow people to really get into it and celebrate it and all that stuff. But our district didn't quite see fit to do that. But anyway, let me get started on cooking what I'm cooking. Should I set you all up for that? I guess I could, and then I'll just speed through it and voice over it like I really know how to do voiceovers. But we'll see if anyone's interested in how I actually cook what I'm about to cook. So honestly, I'm not doing anything complicated. You all have probably seen zoodles made before. I find it funny how when they package the zucchini, it looks like this. You get it, you turn it around, and you see different spots and stuff. But it's all good. I'm just gonna cut the ends off. And I might have shown it in a previous little grocery haul, but this is just a little julienne cutter. Looks very much like a potato peel. And then nothing special, you just grab it and commence to shred it. It's important that you not go too deep. That's about the only thing I can say. I do a few strokes on one side, turn it, stroke it some more. I like all the skins. And then after I've done this, why am I struggling? I guess because it's new. I'm not familiar with this, and I broke the last one I had there now while I'm talking. I do not think I'm a person who can really talk through and do all of this. I probably need to just shoot it and keep on slicing. But yeah, this is all I'm doing, and it just kind of cuts it up like this. I'll drop it into the bowl, and I use this instead of actual pasta a lot of times when I'm cooking, simply because, like I said, that pasta, oh my goodness, it makes me feel so full. So I'm just going to continue shredding these, and I'll show you what I do next. And I cut it down until I get to the seeds. You can even hear a different sound. If you're not really paying attention, it sounds different when you get closer to the core. And you don't want the seeds, well, I don't anyway, because they have a more bitter taste to them than I enjoy. So once I get to the core, I'm pretty done. Now, some people make veggie broth and things like that, and I guess that's what that would be good for, but I really don't. I'm just kind of good for the julienne effect, and then I move on. Why I'm not using my larger cutting board, I really don't know. It'd be too much like easy, I guess. Once I'm done cutting my zucchini, it's time to move on to my peppers. And I'm gonna give it, I guess a coarse chop is what I would call it for this one. Just because I like the textures and the flavors whenever I'm making my little veggie dishes. And excuse me if that's too loud, so I'll edit it out. But, yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and cut up all of these peppers because I've had them not long, but just a couple of days. And as you know, it sure doesn't take long for veggies to go bad. Y'all see how rough my cutting of veggies is, right? Nowhere near a professional cutter. So what did I do? I bought something to help me with it. And I can't even get the swing of the helper. Let me grab it. Okay, so it kind of looks like a ring. It has a little hole here. And I guess I'm supposed to hide my fingers behind it and just chop, and get busy. But I'm telling you, I cannot get the hang of it. So, Lord help me. Let me get something to put my peppers in. If I'd have just gotten a bigger thing, you ever get started, get committed, and then it's like, you know what, I'm too far in. I don't feel like washing more dishes now, so I'm just stay with the smaller cutting board. Could give myself some more room moving all my cocktail stuff, speaking of which. Had to pause for the cause. Alright, so I guess you start off this way. And then what? Oh, I need to tuck my thumb in. Now, although I haven't cut myself in enough number of years, I have, like if I got on nails, I have cut the nails. I still cannot figure this out. I guess hold it like, I need a YouTube video on how to do this thing, because I sure do not know. Okay, well, that looked a little better than that clumsy stuff I was doing a second ago. This little thing I just found on Amazon. I don't even know how I got it. Oh, I know. I bought a
knife sharpener. And I guess that kind of gave it a clue that maybe I could use one of these. And when I saw it, I sure didn't know what I was looking at. I do feel braver cutting faster when I have it in my hand, on my finger rather. But yeah, I had never heard of this. So, okay, yeah, all right. Just takes a little practice, I guess. I'll get better with it. But I do know, I feel like I'm moving faster. Y'all should check it out. I don't even know what it's called because I've had it for a little while, and it comes in a duo pack. You get 2 in the pack, and I gave 1 to my daughter. I don't know if she's used it. After watching this, she might. So, hey. All right, let me see. Yeah, I feel like I'm chefing it up. Watch out now. Oh, see, just when I started, let me just shut up and keep cutting. Ooh, I feel like I'm doing something now, baby. Oh, we're cutting now, baby. All right. I guess it won't help if I start sticking my thumb in there because, again, I'll be done cut the nail. It feels awkward, but I do think it moves better. I will say, too, keeping my knives sharper, which was not a thing I used to do. I just used to, just cut willy-nilly and be on my way. And if it wasn't so sharp, I just press a little harder. To me, that harder pressure is exactly how people cut themselves a lot. Okay, so I've chopped up all my veggies, and it's important for me that I clean as I go. So any part of cooking for me involves, had to have another sip, y'all, I was thirsty. Any part of cooking for me involves having a sink full of dishwater so I can just kind of wash as I go. But chopped up onions. I also give my spinach a coarse chop just because I hate it when I'm eating it and there's that stem that kind of gives me that feeling. I don't like that. So I just give my spinach a coarse chop. I've got some mushrooms, as I said before, my zoodles, I'm going to call that zucchini noodles. And I've got some garlic bread that I'm going to cook and add to the mix later. A lot of times people add pasta sauce. I like to add marinara just for an extra kick of flavor. Of course, I'm going to add some garlic. These seasonings are actually for my zoodles. I've got some coarse salt, little cayenne pepper because I like just a little kick to it. I could put jalapeno in here, but child, that's another veggie that do I feel like cutting up some jalapeno? I do. I'm going to cut up 1 jalapeno added to it. Of course, however hot you want it to be, depends on how much of the seeds you put in there. And then just a little garlic powder. Again, that's just for my zoodles. For my zoodles, I'll go ahead and pour some garlic infused olive oil in my pan and give it a quick toss, putting just a pinch of the salt and probably some of the garlic powder in there as well. And it's just important that I cook the zoodles a little bit because, as you know, cucumbers, zucchini, and things like that are high in moisture, which is usually a good thing, except when I'm eating it as pasta, I need to cook that moisture out of it so that my pasta isn't super limp. When I cook real pasta, I like it to be a little bit on the al dente side, so that's why I'm cooking some of that moisture out of my zoodles. But yeah, I'll put a little bit of Old Bay in there because I kind of want it to taste shrimpish, maybe a little bit of Tony's, and we'll see how that goes. But anywho, let's take a look at the skillet and see what else. Now, as I get ready to cook my zoodles, I kind of let the skillet get pretty good medium hot. I can test some of it, hear it sizzling, and I'm just going to drop it in. fact, I'll drop all of it in. And again, I'm just doing this to kind of cook out the moisture so I can have more of that pasta effect with it. And then once it's in, I just kind of toss it around a little bit. Kind of making sure that it all dries off. And then as I cook it and go, I'm going to put it in the colander here just to make sure it continues to cook off any steam and stuff. But this is a good time too that I add a little bit of garlic powder. I still ended up being too lazy to chop up that jalapeno, so I'll just toss that in. And I've got enough veggies anyway. And then just a little pinch, I guess, of salt that I'll sprinkle throughout it. I like a coarse salt. And then just kind of keep it moving. And this is my pasta. If you don't want to go through the trouble of this, you could actually buy Green Giant, I know, makes a zoodle in the grocer's you'll find it in your grocer's freezer. But a small baggie of it costs like close to $4, and the larger one, of course, is closer to $7. So I think for my 3 zucchinis for the 3 I bought at Aldi, I only paid not even $2, so it's not that big a hassle for me. Oh, I did not mean that. Y'all must be tired. I forgot that it was a flip top deal. You just don't have to let some of that cook off. Then drain it. I'm gonna turn the heat up just a little bit to cook it a little faster. Oh, I'm thinking I flipped the top, not realizing ooh, okay, there we go. I'm thinking I flipped the top and just use the small hole, but luckily it's this instead of my old Bay or Tony's or something, because I'd have been up a creek with that one. I'm not gonna trip. Just be back at the store getting some more soy sauce soon, I bet. Oh, I did not mean to do that. But that's alright, it'll work out. Now I'm just switching it over to a little bit of avocado oil. Not that I'm cooking it very high, but why not? And I didn't wipe down my skillet in between. Well, I did. I guess a loose wiping of it, but not a big time of wiping in between. I think I'll add about a handful of my peppers. Let that get started. Did I say 1 handful? Make it about 3.5 handfuls. I like a lot of pepper. Although I cut up half of an onion, I'm not going to use that much. Or like a 1/4 of an onion, I guess. so good and fresh. Two things I add a little bit later is garlic, because garlic tends to burn pretty quickly, and spinach, because I don't want to cook it all the way down till it's super limp, but you know, just to soften it up as it should be. But I do let my pepper and onion get a start. Ooh, that Tony still found me. I thought I'd gotten away. And then I'm just starting this. I don't want to cook it all the way down because I have yet to add my marinara and stuff. And it's going to cook a little bit more when I do that. It's really going to simmer, I guess. Maybe a couple heapings of garlic, a couple teaspoons if I were measuring. Spinach. Might as well, right? Doesn't really have a taste, but it has mad health benefits, so toss that in as well. Let it cook down, stir some more, and then I'll add my so-called shrimp. Okay, so that's what it looks like before I add my marinara. Pour that into my veggie mix. And at this point, since I didn't add a basil leaf, I'm not worried about all of that flavor coming out of that. Didn't I just splash myself? Of course I did. I already dropped something on my top earlier, trying to taste mushrooms. But anyway, since I don't have a bay leaf in here, I'm just gonna kind of simmer it just a little bit. It doesn't need long at all. I'm not really cooking it down. I still want that fresh veggie taste. Speaking of which, all right. I did pretty good with my zoodles because, as you see, I don't have a whole lot of water. So I cooked most of it out in the skillet, which is exactly what I intended to do. And I can just add it now, and then I'll add my mushroom, and I'm done. I popped a couple pieces of garlic bread in the air fryer. I'll divide some of this for my lunch throughout the remainder of the week, and I should be good to go. Alright, so here is my final product, finished touch or whatever. As you can see, I like my spaghetti to be very saucy. If you don't, I would recommend you not use the whole jar of marinara or tomato sauce. I know a lot of people cook it with that. And the cocktail is about half done. So anywho, this isn't a cooking channel, so you know we got more to it than that. I'm just gonna put some lids on my lunch. Oh yeah, so before I forget, I wanted to show you what I was talking about with my under cabinet stuff. Don't laugh at me, I was trying to be cheap. A lot of times, you get what you pay for. Okay, I had to be still so my lights will go off. Let me open the door or something and get some movement going. It's my little pantry here. All right, so I've got these motion lights under the cabinet. Seems kind of cool, right? I liked it. So like this, it looks fine. It looks great. Not a problem. The problem that I had though is one, I didn't know you had to keep it plugged in.
And then two, like underneath, I'm trying to get under it. There we go. So you can see underneath, that's how the lighting is. And that's fine. The problem I have though is that sometimes these fall down. They don't stay stuck like they should. So periodically they'll just fall down. But other than that, the light looks good. So my little cheap self, I'm gonna have to replace that. As much as I love a discount, I like what I like too, so. Okay, so like I said, this isn't a cooking show. I did have something I kind of wanted to talk about. I think I mentioned earlier that I went on a field trip. So just to give you a little background, we went to Legoland, which is here in Kansas City. It's down on Crown Center. So we go, that's how I ended up talking about the draft, because I see how they're setting things up and I want to be a part of it, but I digress. We go on the field trip, and first of all, let me tell you, when we go on field trips, part of what allows us to do this, to be in such a large setting, is that we depend on parent volunteers. Cool. I happen to have some very good parents, volunteered, stepped right in. Hey, can I help you with this? Do you need help with that? Let us know what you need. I give them my number in case there's an issue or anything. They can give me a call and all of that. But while we're there, I have to take our lunches to another section for when we eat lunch later, right? Because the kids can't lug them around. So as I'm doing that, of course, I have help, and I'm so fortunate. I don't take that for granted. But I look over and I see this other school. We weren't the only school there. There's another school there, and I see the teacher struggling to carry the lunch for like 20 or so kids. And she has parent volunteers, one of them being a man. This man, I can see, clearly sees her struggling with the lunches and does not volunteer, doesn't lift a finger. In fact, he's standing there looking simple, got his hands in his pockets and just kind of looking around. Now, granted, he was there with his wife, girlfriend, significant other, whatever, but to me, that just has no bearing on the fact that as a man, you see this woman struggling with a weight that likely would not be a struggle for you. And it's your, child's teacher? Why would you not help? You're there to help. So let me tell you, Legoland in and of itself costs about, if you were to go on the weekend with your kid, it would cost about $40 for you each. How much did it cost for us on our field trip for your kid? Or for their kid, I should say, because it's not really you, but I'm, using it as an example. So how much does it cost for a kid to go with us on a field trip? $3. Again, that's because Legoland knows what we know, which is for an individual to take 20 or so kids on that experience, they're going to need help. They're going to need volunteers. So even the volunteers don't have to pay that hefty price. They don't get to pay $3, but they have to pay $11. So you're volunteering to help. And so to see parents, especially a man, because I just can't stand no useless man, to see them just standing there like, we don't know what to do, we're just standing around. I just feel like a woman shouldn't have to tell a man, hey, this is heavy, hey, help me, whatever. If I was the woman of that man who was standing there, I probably would have said, hey babe, why don't you step in? Or I don't know, because I just can't picture myself with a man that just doesn't have that kind of courtesy toward a woman. That's just not attractive to me. And I would imagine and I've seen it before in life in general. I've seen women, look at that man like, you been out, why you looking, to me, if you're with a man that makes you feel that way or give that off, you're with the wrong man. I don't find that at all appealing, attractive, or just kind. Like that was just strange to me. And just a word of caution to any parents, if you're going on a field trip, honestly, you're not there to hang out. You're there to help the experience. You're there to make the experience possible, because without the help of parents, we can't go on these field trips. And if you're fortunate enough to afford that $40, that $22 for the adults and all of that stuff, then congratulations. Like, seriously, I'm not mad at that. But if you're going on a field trip, part of that is, like I said, to help. For those who can't afford it, let me just say, to whom much is given,
You know what I mean? You know the rest. So help with that. There are a lot of kids, like we have a zoo, nice little zoo, and we've had field trips to the zoo. I have taught kids, what have I taught? Kindergarten through sixth grade. So I've taught sixth graders who have told me they've never gone to a zoo. We literally have a bicycle program at our schools and throughout the district, throughout the city really, that teach older kids how to ride a bike because a lot of them don't get bikes when they're young. So there are just so many experiences that your child may be blessed to have, but a lot of others don't. So if you come and you volunteer on a field trip, like your help is truly needed to make it a wonderful experience for all the kids. Call it community service, charity work, whatever it is that you need. But that is just necessary. But back to that useless man, I'm looking at him, not my school, not my class, not even my business probably. I can acknowledge that, I can admit that. But just as a woman, seeing a useless man just stand around and watch this teacher struggle, I genuinely felt bad for her. And what happened was a whole nother woman, and I could see her watching him the same way I was watching. Whole nother parent with a whole nother child still in that classroom though, sees that and she was like, "Can I help you?" And she stepped up and helped. I probably would have volunteered to help, but I needed to stay with my own group. And I was also, managing our own lunches and stuff. But that was just so distasteful to me. I don't understand it. I mean, am I tripping for women out there who have a spouse or a significant other? Is that the vibe you put out? Like, do you not want to see to me, that's attractive. If my man is doing that and just being a man in general, I find that genuinely attractive. If I just feel like if you don't see a woman and see a reason and an opportunity to step in and help and be that man, then I don't know. That's just not appealing. But by the same token, if your man is stepping in and he's doing stuff, applaud him. Let him know, oh, wait, that's all right. I see your little biceps working. I see you flexing, doing a little something. Let them know. But yeah, I don't know. That just didn't sit well with my little spirit. That kind of bothered me today. But anyway, it is well after 10, probably, going on 11. It's time for me to lay it down. I already had a nap. I did eat some of that. But what I like about it, like I said, that kind of pasta, that zoodles, I'm just gonna keep calling it, they'll fill you up, but they don't give you that I'm so full, I don't have anything else to do, I don't have any other energy. It does not leave me feeling that way at all. So hopefully you'll try the recipe and let me know if you like it. Let me know in the comment section below if you even think you want to try it. But really what I want to know, is it just me with that whole men stepping up? Is that the new thing? And let me tell you, the man I saw, he wasn't no spring chicken. Like, these younger men, okay, they may not know a lot of things. They may not have the influence of an older man to teach them. I'll grant that. But like I said, this wasn't even no spring chicken. If I had to put a guess on his age, I'd put him well into his 40s. And if he's not, again, he's with the wrong woman then, because he looked wore out and wore down. But maybe that's why he didn't want to help. Still, I don't know. Let me not drag the man for filth. I'm just upset with his behavior and his mannerisms. But yeah, that is just very unattractive to me. I would not. If my man did that, I'd be embarrassed. I would probably on the spot ask him, "Hey babe, can you step in and help with that?" Probably talk to him later with something on your mind that you didn't just up and do that, or make sure he knows, hey, I'm not the kind of woman that stresses about that. If I see you helping another woman, that doesn't bother me. I'm secure enough in our relationship, especially if he's helped me to be secure in that relationship. And if I'm not secure in that relationship is no more. But I don't understand that. I don't side with that at all. I could be wrong, but that's just my own opinion. Anywho, that being said, I'm going to close out, hit the sack, and hopefully I'll pick up the camera more and just I need to listen. Editing, Kimberly, do better. For the rest of you, good night, take care.